Hello everybody and welcome to the video. Today we're here in the Rift Dungeon and my goal is to help you guys beat the Wind Beast. Now the Wind Beast, in my opinion, is probably one of the harder beasts out of all of them. I think he's the hardest only because the way you approach this dungeon is just a bit weird, but it's not impossible. In fact, I think very early on in the game you can beat this dungeon just if you know what units to use and you know exactly what to do. So, of course, I'm here. So I'm going to be helping you guys beat it. So, let's not waste too much time. I want to help you guys get an S on this. I want to make sure you guys know how to do this. So, as per usual, we're going to head into the strategy info and pick up on some information. So, when you guys go to build your teams, you know exactly what you're aiming for. I think there's a difference between just giving you guys a team and then telling you guys how to form a team. So, let's not waste too much time. Let's go. So first things first is Thorn of Despair. This is the same for all of these beasts, where essentially allies in the front are going to be the ones that are going to take damage from the skill, and the damage that they take is going to be proportionate to their defense. The more defense that they have, the less damage they're going to take. So you don't want to just bring units that are built on nothing but HP. So slot 2, 4, and 6 are speed, HP. Your units are going to just take so much damage. It doesn't matter how much HP they have. They're just going to take thousands of damage. I'm talking about, what is it? It says attacks all allies. I believe it attacks multiple times or something like that. No, yeah, 2 times. You will take about like maybe 6 to 7k per hit, right? So it's just, you're going to take a bit of damage. You might lose half your HP, and I believe the damage increases as time goes on. Not to mention that the electric shock effect will actually boost the damage. The electric shock effect is going to almost act like a branding. So you'll just take massive damage. You'll just get nuked out of nowhere, and you're going to be like, what? So bring units with tons of defense. So, you're obviously not having to worry about Thorn of Despair. And especially in this stage where the theme is kind of about healing, you really don't want to just take more damage than you need to. But moving on to the Lightning Roar. Lightning Roar is a little special skill that this boss has. If you look at all these bosses and you look at the second skill that's displayed in their strategy info, it changes for every single one of them. And for the Wind Beast, it's Lightning Roar. Essentially, this thing is going to place a little yellow veil over your HP bar. This is called Electric Shock. And it has a couple effects. One, this will increase the damage that you receive from the boss. So you're obviously going to want to remove it as quick as possible. Another thing is, every time an ally takes a turn and they have the electric shock on them, they will take damage equivalent to 10% of their max HP. So again, you don't exactly want to have this on you. And I hope I'm not forgetting anything else, but you essentially want to remove it by healing your HP to 100%. So you'll get to see that in battle. Last but not least, Swirling Rageful Breath. This is essentially the skill that you never want to see. If you're seeing the boss use a skill, it means you're taking a bit too long. But you've seen it. If you've seen any of my guides, you've seen Rageful Breath activate a couple times. But don't worry, you shouldn't really ever face this. But if you do, this is going to inflict tons of damage. Your squishies are probably going to die here. So again, you want to beat the boss before it ever uses this. But your units do have a chance to live. I'm just going to say that. So the skills it's going to use is going to use any of these, right? Wind Sweep, Lightning Roar, Thorn of Despair, and if it uses, again, all these skills enough times, it'll eventually use Swirling Rageful Breath. And as you can see here, it talks about attacking your ally 6 times. And these attacks ignore all damage reduction effects. So that's not good. But first one is Wind Sweep. This attacks all enemies, aka all your allies, 2 times using its gigantic body and recovers HP in proportion to the number of enemies under the electric shock effect. So this essentially gives you another reason to just remove it as quickly as possible. Lightning Roar, which is, again, its special skill, attacks all enemies 3 times with a furious roar and grants the electric shock effect. The damage increases and ignores all damage reduction effects every time the Lightning Roar is used. So, again, pay real close attention to that. The damage increases every time it's used. So, even though you can remove this by healing your HP to max, that shouldn't be an excuse for you to build a team with nothing but healers. Because it's going to not only deal more damage, which means by the time it uses it 4 or 5 times, I mean, even your healers are going to be nearing 0% HP. They're going to get really low health. But it's going to be harder to remove. And you're definitely going to be seeing this swirling Rageful Breath if you bring nothing but healers. So, again, more of a reason to remove it. But looking at the little mini thing in the Lightning Roar that's called Electric Shock, the damage you receive will be increased under the Electric Shock effect. The recovery amount you receive will be decreased by 40%, and you'll be inflicted with continuous damage proportionate to 10% of your max HP every turn. You must reach 100% HP in order to remove the Electric Shock effect. And when you do this, what will happen is like it'll sound like a little electric bolt back to the boss, which will deal pretty good damage to the boss. I mean, this is going to be really helpful. So you're going to want to bring units that have good heals and consistent heals. Thorns of Despair, as we talked about earlier, it attacks 2 times, deals damage based off of defense. Nothing really to look at, again. Swirling Rageful Breath removes all beneficial effects on all enemies, so he's going to strip you of defense, shields, whatever, speed buffs, continuous healing, anything. And attack you 6 times, damage ignores damage reduction effects. And then his passive is something we're going to take a look at real quick. Specifically the end. Because the passive is usually the same between all beasts, where you just can't place debuffs until you get the boss into the groggy state. Before the groggy state, you're just not going to be able to place defense breaks or branding, so don't even try it. But the last part is what you want to be paying attention to, where it says, additionally, increases the damage received from fire monsters by 50%. So monsters with the fire attribute will deal a really massive amount of damage and also take less damage. And it will increase the damage dealt to water monsters. So water monsters will receive tons of damage. I mean, way more. So we got to take this into consideration. So with that being said, let's get into the team formation screen. Okay, so here we are in the team selection screen. I got a couple units sitting here, which we'll go over them in a little bit, but I think these are key units for your first to win beast team. I mean, these are all units that you can obtain completely for free. And I mean, you can obtain them pretty early on too. I mean, by the end of the first month of you playing, you'll probably have all of these. Maybe. I mean, Irogar maybe like a month and a half in, but you'll still have him relatively fast. By the time you get him is when you'll be ready for the Wind Beast. But a couple things we need to talk about is, one, notice where my cursor is. I'll put arrows to it in editing if I have to, if I don't see the cursor. But the top row where the monsters are says front, and the bottom row says back. Obviously, this corresponds to where your units are going to be in battle. And you want your support units, the ones that have high defense, to be on the front. So, obviously on the top row. Try to keep your support units limited to 2, because you're going to want to have tons of damage in this stage. And I can't stress that enough. If you just bring nothing but healers, if you go, oh, Colleen, Rakaja, Xiangfei, and then like Fran or Riley, or god dang it, where's Fran? Or Riley. I have Riley at the end here. I'm going to make a video on her soon. But Fran, it's just like, yes, you're going to be able to get the electric shock off, but the runs will take forever, and you're more likely to lose by having tons of healers. So try to stay with 2. I have Rakaja, which has amazing heals, and Xiangfei, if we could take a look at him real quick. On his second skill, places a passive heal on everyone, which they will heal by 15% of their HP for 2 turns, which can be pretty helpful for this stage. I think Xiangfei is more helpful than some people might think, which you guys will get to see as the fight happens. So, 2 healers, but you can use Colleen, again, Riley, Fran, if you absolutely need to. I think Fran should be a last resort. I mean, heck, use Bella Dion over them. But, again, one thing to notice is that you're going to go speed, HP, defense, or speed, defense, HP. Try to mix it up, but have yourself a good amount of defense so you're taking little damage, and a good amount of HP so you have a good HP bar. Rakaja here, 1200 defense. He doesn't have crazy amounts of HP, but I've tried to make up for it in his substats. I mean, you could take a look at that real quick. We'll go over his runes again in a little bit. But Xiang Fei is the same way. Tons of speed, tons of defense, tons of HP. It might take you time to get runes like that, but it shouldn't take too long. But there you go. So in your back row, you're going to want to have 4 damage dealers. I believe 4 damage dealers is what you want to go with. I mean, you're going to really want to make sure that this boss gets electric shock off or lightning roar off as little as possible. The more he gets it off, the harder it's going to be to remove. So Irogar is going to be in the back. Irogar is so helpful for this stage, and he needs to be skilled up. He places the blood contract on all your allies, which allow them to heal their HP by 20% of the damage that they deal, which is going to be good for your damage dealers, where they're dealing damage, and again, healing their HP to full, getting that electric shock off. Not only that, he places an attack buff on everyone for 3 turns, and he also has an attack power lead by 38%. I usually use Perna, because Perna has a passive heal and attack power plus 44%. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to use a completely different team, a team that I actually haven't used before. I want to give you guys some free-to-play options. So of course, the first unit in mind is Kali. This is what I have Kali on. She has tiny bit of speed, but attack crit rate or attack crit damage attack. We'll take a look at those, but she has ignore defense, so she'll be able to do a good amount of damage here. I'm low-key a little terrified because I haven't really used her here. But one unit, but again, she is free. I mean, she's not free. I mean, you're gonna have to summon her, but you can get her, I believe, off of Forfagris, whatever. You can get her in the story mode area, right? In the story locations. But one unit that we're gonna put here as well, again, one that you could fuse, is Vertiheal. Vertiheal will help us take tons of turns, which will help us with damage. Not only that, he does heal when he does his first skill, but we're gonna help. We're gonna take a couple turns with him, so it's gonna be helpful. So let's try this team. Let's see how this team works, and then from there we'll move on. So again, here are the runes. I keep talking about changing the Wind Yeti's runes, and I just never do it. I'm a little disappointed in myself. But if you wish to take a closer look at the runes, feel free to pause the video. I'm annoyed that I didn't power up her rune, the plus 15 on that one. I know you guys saw it, the plus 12 rune. I'm disappointed. You should be plus 15ing your runes. Any stat helps. Plus 15ing, that's a interesting way to say words. Let's hop into the fight. So you guys are gonna get to see the lightning roar happen. So lightning roar, boom, there's that yellow veil over us, and we're gonna have that little electric shock. Watch this. Boom. So I'm gonna pause it real quick. You saw when we all got fully healed, we saw all those thunderbolts go back to the boss. Look how much damage that did. That did about nearly 30% of its health, or 40%. But that's good. But it's really important to get good damage dealers. Oh, that could take down the boss. I was kind of worried that they weren't going to do that. So Kali's not doing that bad. I haven't used Kali before in this stage. But let's see. I'm very curious. That wasn't that much. I'm sure a lot of people's Kalis do way better than mine. Boom, there's that synergy. The Wind Yeti did not heal all the way, but that's fine. As long as we kill the boss before too much stuff happens. The Wind Yeti is down, but it is fine. I have complete faith in this team. Blood Contract, boom. Oof. That is completely fine. Crow is dead. But Kali is alive, and Kali's going to do good damage. No, she's not. That's a little bit of a disappointment, kind of. But they did it. They did it. I'll be honest, I've never used that team before. I never did. I'll show you guys what team I use. So that's double S. Not bad. But it's a free-to-play concept, right? I haven't used it. What I usually use is Perna, and I use Perna's lead. So I get 44%. Perna does have a passive heal. So, and he revives, deals damage. The more HP the target enemy currently has, the larger the damage becomes. So, of course, he's going to deal tons of damage in the beginning. But as you can see, Kali can deal a decent amount of damage. Just use fire units. I think that's one thing that I have to express quite a few times, is that fire units are going to take less damage and deal a significant amount of damage regardless. So, doesn't necessarily matter who you bring, but yeah, bring fire units. Another thing is Xiang Fei is built on a complete support build. He could be built on damage. So the Fire Panda in the front, he's not on damage. You could go damage with him and he'd be perfect, especially since he counterattacks a lot, which would make your runs even more safer, especially if you run with Kali. So that's another thing to consider. I mean, we would get out so much more damage if I put him on a damage build. But you could also use units. Watch the there we go. I was gonna say watch Crow just get out of that electric shock thanks to the Phoenix. I should stop fumbling with stuff off camera. I'm sure you guys are hearing that in the background. But you could theoretically build all your tanky units on damage, especially if they're like the Wind Yeti, or if they're like Xiang Fei, where they deal damage based off of a stat. So like the Wind Yeti, where he deals damage based off of defense, right here, it's like I could go like speed, crit damage, defense, and then get tons of defense, crit rate, crit damage, and HP in the subs, and then he just again is helping deal damage to the boss. That works. And my 3-star account, I need to get back on that account. That's a fun account. I have Ramahan, the Wind Inagami, where he's in the front, where he takes damage and he could deal back a massive amount of damage as well. You could also use units, I mean, where is he or she? He. Where it's like the Fire Frankenstein. I know this is a bad idea. I mean, obviously you're going to want to use support units, but they do damage based off of defense. It's just something to consider. We could do this, where we put like not Celine, Miriam in the front, where she increases the effects of attack buffs and defense buffs. So if you happen to have Miriam, she also works too. So we'll do one last run, and I think that'll be it for the video. But healing's amazing. But yeah, Miriam is so good. I mean, she increases the effects of attack buffs and defense buffs and speed buffs. So you're going to see that they're going to deal just so much more damage. I mean, that was obviously far better. Boom. And we get some shields too. But I remember when I first played this game and I tried to get into the Wind Beast, I just could never beat it, no matter how much I tried. And then finally I'm beating it, and it just shows you how much better you get at a game the more you just try and experiment over and over again. Ooh, there we go. I mean, we're killing it. Holy crap. Boom. This is third lightning roar this entire time. Oh, we're going to take some damage. But that's fine. Is the rocket dog going to move first? Oh, thank God. That did not go well. It counts. It counts. You can obviously replace Crow. I think Crow can be replaced fairly easy as long as you're getting S, double S. It really doesn't matter if you're getting a super high score as long as you're beating it. But I helped you guys beat the Wind Beast. I gave you guys a couple options. Gave you guys what I believe to be some pretty sage advice. But tell me what you guys think in the comment section. Did I actually help you, or was I just rambling on as I tend to do? I don't know. Again, you guys tell me in the comment section. If you liked the video, obviously, like, subscribe for more. I don't usually ask that. It's embarrassing. But I'm asking you guys this time. But until then, until the next video, I'll see you guys soon. Have a good night. Have a good day. Peace.